Hello, welcome everyone. Sorry, I can't believe I still managed to screw that up. But anyway, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. Say Wednesday? Happy Tuesday. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Linda, RJ, Stubbs, Toy Stories, and a Muffin Streams. Hey, I don't recognize a Muffin Streams. Thanks for being here, Muffins. And no chewings here, Sir Charles, Toy Stories. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a great episode of Toy Art interview with really awesome, amazing dude. Fantastic toy photographer. Got him right here. And he is right here. Aaron, dude, how you doing?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
It's great to see you too. Thank you for being here. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for being a member and meeting with me today.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you.
No, seriously, I'm really looking forward to this a lot. So just tell me a little bit about Aaron, and then also tell me a little bit about Toyimmersion.
Yeah, so I'm on the West Coast. We're in California. Live in a suburb called Santa Clarita. It's like about an hour north of downtown LA. Married to an awesome woman. She supports this crazy hobby of ours, which is helpful.
Yes.
We just celebrated our 9-year wedding anniversary. So
congrats.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it went by really quick, surprisingly. We got 2 boys together. Caleb, who's 7. Sean, who's going to be 6 in a couple weeks. Caleb, not so much into toys, but my younger one, Sean, he's like a clone of me. Like,
oh, cool.
He's been into like He-Man since day one. He's starting to get into toy photography. I'll come up from work and he'll have like a whole little scene set up. He's like, Dad, gotta take a picture of this, and we'll get behind the camera.
Awesome.
Yeah. So slowly but surely, I'm starting to like capture some of his stuff, so that way when he gets a little bit older and can handle an Instagram, we'll be able to post his stuff. I think it'd be really cool to like him as an early age, like 5-year-old's toy photography, and just post that on there. I think it's really cool. So
that's so cool. So I'm assuming as a dad, that's just a really awesome feeling to just see him just be like into it without even you pushing it.
It is, and it's interesting to see like how much they pick up. Like he sees me, like I'll be like bouncing the light off of like a card or something. I'll come up from work, and he's got like this orange card like next to the figure, and he's like, I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm bouncing the light off of it. I'm like, oh,
wow.
Awesome. He's like, yeah, orange on his side. I'm like, all right. Like it doesn't look like he's paying attention sometimes, but he is.
Wow. And he's 6?
He's gonna be 6 in a couple weeks.
Wow,
yeah.
It's not even 6, and he's already like. And
yeah.
Does he like? Do you think when he does that, like for instance with the card, is he doing it because he understands what it does, or he's doing it because he sees you doing it?
I think it's a mixed bag. Wow. I think like some things stands, but I don't know. Like kids that age, they're like sponges, and so I don't put anything past them. Like I'm like, well, maybe I can show him Photoshop. Maybe he'll like really rock it on Photoshop and come up with something awesome.
I'm
like,
sure.
Who knows?
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would. Especially, I feel like someone at that age, like, they're growing up with technology, so like they're probably already, their body and mind is already ready to take in that kind of info more than like us. That's
yeah.
That's so cool. Wow, that's so he's not even 6 yet, and he's doing stuff like bouncing light off of like. That's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah, and the stuff he comes up with, like the scenes they're pretty elaborate. Like it's, so I'm trying to like now teach him. Like he'll have like 10 different figures. It's like a full-on war. Like he's outside. He's got the air gun. He's blasting stuff up, and so I'm teaching him now like to kind of like scale it back a little bit so that when we take the picture, it all can kind of fit in. Because I feel bad. He'll have like, all these guys set up, and then when we get behind the camera, it's like one guy that. So I'm trying to teach them like the field of view and depth and that kind of thing. So
that's so cool.
But he's gonna be doing really good, I think.
It sounds like he already is. That's so cool. But you said Caleb's not totally into it.
Yeah, Caleb never was into it, and it's so weird. Like they're a year and a half apart. Caleb from the start was just never into it. But Sean, for whatever reason, he always just gravitated towards toys, and I don't know the reason. Caleb was more like video games. Like he kind of got into Fortnite a little bit earlier. But yeah, just never really toys for whatever reason. So, but it's interesting. So yeah, so he turns 6 next week, or in 2 weeks. We're going to medieval times. So you can never go wrong with jousting and a turkey leg on the same day. It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's where you literally sit and watch it happen, right?
Yeah, I guess. So you go there, and it's kind of like you're in an arena, and I guess like the knights come out on the horses, and they do like jousting, and then they give you like these really big turkey legs, and you can eat like medieval time. And banners, and I guess you can like root for like different sides and all that kind of thing. So
cool.
I never been, wanted to go. It sounds like very like Mythic Legions kind of thing. So it should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's basically. I mean, it basically is. That's so cool. Yeah, we don't have anything like that around. I mean, maybe we do over here, like in New York somewhere, but just not where I've grown up or lived. So that sounds like a blast. I would love to try that. Yeah. That's so cool. Well, I hope he has a great birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll.
Like I say, you can't go wrong with jousting and a turkey leg. So.
Yeah. Maybe it'll inspire some toy photos for him.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maybe.
I hope so.
So, tell me a little bit more about Toyimmersion. Tell me about you as a toy photographer.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll kind of go back to how I started with toys as an adult in general. So maybe starts off a little personal, but it kind of ties back into the toys in the long run. So I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I was an 80s kid, so He-Man, G.I. Joes, Thundercats, all that stuff. I was an only child, so between 5 and 12, I just remembered like the toys being a really big part of my life, and wherever I went, the toys went with me. So whenever I was at my parents' house, always had the toys. And then my mom, especially during like summer vacation, she would work and drop me off at my grandma's, and I would take all the toys with me, and my grandmother would play toys with me. So I just remember that like being like a huge part of my upbringing. And kids like with 2 boys, like I wasn't really sure how brothers are supposed to interact, because I was an only kid. I never had that. So like for me, that's how I occupy my time. I would just play with toys all the time. And it's different seeing my 2 boys, because I'm like, you can stick them in a room with nothing, and they'll keep each other occupied. Like within 5 minutes, they're telling fart jokes. They got each other's in a headlock. They're like playing tag. So, and that's just so foreign to me. I'm like, I can't wrap my head around it sometimes. But yeah, so the toys were a huge part of my life, probably up until I was like about 11. And then I got more into like sports, and I got into heavy metal, got into music. I was a huge Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses fan, and just started growing up like everybody else. But I was thinking about this. I remembered the day that I didn't become interested in toys anymore as a kid. I remember the day.
Really?
So when I was a kid, I would in my room I had like one of those like folding 6-foot lunch tables, like when you go to school and you sit down for lunch. I had one of those in my room, and I would just dump all the toys on there, and I would just play with them. And at the time it was G.I. Joes, and I would like play football with them. I would like, one guy would be a receiver, a quarterback, another guy would like be defense, and they would tackle each other. And I set everything up, and I was ready to play. And then I just remember I was just like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Like, I'm kind of like bored. And I put them in a box, and I never played with them again. It's weird that I remember that.
Yeah.
Some
things just stick with you for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a weird thing, because like I said, it was so huge for me. And so they went in the basement, and got a little bit older. In 2002, my grandma passed away. I ended up moving out of Buffalo into California. And then 10 years after that, in 2012, my mom passed away. And then a few years after that, got married, and Caleb was born. And, when we found out he was, I think when she was pregnant with him, we found it was a boy. So I'm like, awesome. I'm like, I'm going to like load up on toys for him, So the first thing I did is I called my dad, who was in my childhood house at the time. And I said, Dad, what happened? Like, I know I had all these toys. Like, what happened to them? And he goes, they're all gone. Like, what do you mean they're all gone? Like, what happened? And he's like, we had a flood and they all got damaged. So basically, what happened? My dad got disabled, and he couldn't walk up and down stairs. And they had a sump pump in the basement. Sump pump ended up flooding over, and there was like knee-high water sitting in the basement for like 6 months.
Oh
So
my God.
all the poo and the mold and the whole 9 yards. And he's like, everything had to get thrown out. So it was my toys, it was all my baby pictures, it was all pictures of my mom and my grandma. And I had like a hard time wrapping my head around it, especially with kids. I was like, they're never going to be able to see what their grandma or their great grandmother looked like. And even for me, like, when I get older, am I going to forget what my mom looked like? So I had a real hard time dealing with that. So fast forward, the boys finally got a little bit older where they could play with toys. From kids from like 0 to like 4, everything goes in their mouth. So like, you don't want to get them like, a He-Man weapon or something like that. So they're finally of age where, we can give them some toys. I go to Walmart. First time I'd been like in a toy aisle since I was a kid. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, this isn't what's going on here? There's like random figures all over the place. Wasn't not like how I remembered. Like growing up in the 80s, you go to Toys R Us, you had like the He-Man aisle, and then you had the G.I. Joe aisle. It was floor to ceiling with the play sets, the vehicles, the figures, and that's what kids like to do. They like to take the figure, put it in the vehicle, put it in the play set, and build that world. And I didn't see that when I was there. Like, it was just random stuff. And so I said, you know what, let's go back home. I'm going to get you what I had. And so I went on eBay, and I'm going to start with He-Man because that's where I started. And I got this figure right here. So the first figure I got is a vintage Man-at-Arms. And I opened up the box, I pulled him out, and I felt like I got time warped back to my childhood.
Oh, right, I'm sure.
And, yeah. And it made me think of my mom. It made me think of my grandma. And because I didn't have any pictures of them, like I remember playing with him at my mom's house. I remember playing with him at my mom's house. And it made me feel good. It made me feel like, I was connected to them in a weird way through somebody else's toys. It's a weird experience. And that's what kind of started it. And then I was like, you know what, I'm committed to this line, and started collecting vintage He-Man. And Sean, who this was originally for, I had to buy double for because I'm like, I'm gonna keep this one.
Man.
I'm gonna keep one. So I ended up getting double of everything, which is awesome. He's got his own stash now, which is cool. And then so then I collected all. I finished the line. I collected all vintage He-Man, and then that ended. I was like, well, what else did I have? I'm like, oh, I had G.I. Joes too. And I look on eBay. I'm like, oh, I remember I had that guy and that guy. And so then I started collecting Joes and started collecting Mad Balls, and it kind of just, it kind of just escalated until my wife's like, do we need a storage unit? Like, where's all going? So right now this is the toy room. So everything is kind of everything stays in the toy room. I'm not allowed to put anything outside of these walls. So and I've honored that so far. So I'm sticking to it.
So far, but it seems like you're outgrowing the room a little bit.
Yeah. So it's so for the long time I only collected vintage. I was like, I'm just doing vintage. It was more of an emotional thing for me. And then through collecting He-Man, I discovered the Classics line, He-Man Masters of the Universe Classics.
Right.
And through them, because Four Horsemen designed the Classics line, I learned about Mythic Legions. And so I had these two like really awesome toy lines like sitting on my shelves, and I'm just like, they're too awesome not to like take pictures of. Like, I wanted to capture what they were all about. And that's kind of how the toy photography for me started, was just kind of dipping out of that vintage world into more of the modern world. So yeah, I think like at this point, anything that's like sealed, I'm probably gonna end up getting like a storage for, and making room for stuff that I take pictures with, because like to get inspired, I come in the room, I kind of look around, and you just kind of kick back and like, oh, I think maybe I could do something with this guy, or you kind of put it just hanging out. So.
That's that's like an amazing story. Thanks for sharing that story with us. Like that's so cool. Like I can't believe, like it's amazing to think that you know, the your connection with the figures is like more, it's a connection with not just your childhood but everything in your childhood that, you know, you were so scared that you weren't really going to be able to see or feel that anymore. And so that's so amazing. So that's so cool. I'm so glad that collecting and toy photography can bring you there and have that kind of feeling for you. That's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, my stepdad, he passed away in May. So
Sorry,
I think, yeah, it's okay, man. You know, he was older, and you know, we're all gonna get there. But I did go back home, and I had to clean out the house and all that. And I did go into the basement, and surprisingly enough, I found some old photo albums. I found all my childhood pictures.
Oh, that's great.
I found grandma. I found like probably a dozen photo albums that it's all in there. And I did find one toy. I found well, actually one line of toys. So when I was a kid, I collected the LGN wrestlers, like I don't know what they are, like the 7-inch rubber wrestlers. And I got the ring, and I got all my wrestlers, which, you know, they're pretty durable. They're rubber, so they don't really, you know, they survive the mold and all that. So everything else is gone, all but that. But I'm just really grateful that I have something from just look at. It's really awesome.
That's so great to hear. Like, because you thought those were gone forever, and wow, what a great feeling that must have been when you found those. That's amazing. And I do want to really quick just shout to Go Figure Go, who's throwing in a super chat here. Thanks, dude. Miguel, you're the man. Go Dork Go. And also he wants Aaron, he wants you to adopt him. So just gonna throw that out there.
Hey, we got room.
I'd really like my allowance, please.
yeah, I don't know about that, Miguel, but we'll. But one thing I want to just mention with your toy. So okay, well, before I mention that, if you're not following Toyimmersion here on Instagram, you gotta be following him. Just absolutely beautiful stuff of all sorts and kinds. Great guy, obviously. So make sure you're following him at Toyimmersion if you'd like to be immersed in toy stuff. That's the way to go. And nice going with getting that handle, Toyimmersion. I think that's awesome. Like no numbers or anything after that. It's a great just a great handle to get.
Yeah, it wasn't my first choice. There's like, I can't remember what the other choices were. And I came into Instagram late. Like I had everything on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, my wife said, and I've only been doing toy photography since March. I mean, that's kind of when.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I really committed to it, meaning like, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna commit to like 2 pictures a week. That's kind of when it started. So up until then, I had just whatever I had on Instagram, on Facebook, and my wife's like, you know, I think Instagram might be a better platform for that. So I'm like, okay. So I started Instagram, and I didn't want any numbers or dashes or anything like that. So I think I went through 20 different things, and I was getting frustrated. I'm like, I can't come up with like a cool name. And my wife, I think like I was in the toy room. She comes in, she's like, you just are immersed in this room. I'm like, that's it. Like, I'm like, that's available. I'm like, awesome. That's it.
That's great. Awesome. That's so cool to hear. So what I was going to mention was, because I was like, I went to the beginning of your page, and your first shot was back in March, and then you're like, oh, I've been doing this a while on Facebook, but no, you said March still, so March was still when you started, and I'm just blown away with the fact, like, it's almost as if you had like an instant understanding of what, understanding of photography and toy photography, and like right off the bat, your photos are like absolutely fantastic. Like, how is that possible? Like,
yeah, I mean, I didn't have any clue. I had absolutely zero clue what I was doing in the beginning. I think when I really wanted to get into it, I remember I probably do what everyone does. I go on YouTube and like Google some stuff, and I came across a video of a guy, and he's like, you want to do for toy photography, this is how you do it. He's like, only thing you do is you go on like Google Images and you print out a background, like whatever background you want. And you take it, you stick it to a wall, stick the figure in the middle, whatever light source you got, you beam it down. So if you have a table lamp, just beam it down on the figure. and that's it. And he took the picture, and I saw the after, and I was like, that looks pretty good. Like, I think I can do that. And so that's what I did. Like, in fact, my Instagram picture of the Fortnite night,
Right.
that's one of those. It's just like a paper background, and I stuck it to the wall, stuck the figure, had some light, and I took it. I'm like, that doesn't look too bad. I'm like, I think it can get better, but I'm not sure what it needs. And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, I think it needs lighting. That was like the first thing that came in my mind. I'm like, we need better lighting, because like for me, whenever you go into like a place that's cool, like we went out to eat for our 9-year anniversary, and the second you walk into this restaurant, it feels awesome. And I was like, why does it feel so cool in here? And you look, and it's the light. Like, you couldn't see any lights, but they're like, it's getting bounced around. Like, the lights are behind things, and it creates that mood. And I think that's how I found you, because I got the Lume Cubes, I think, from learning. I didn't even know what Lume Cubes are until I watched, I think, your lighting tutorial. So I got some Lume Cubes, put it in front of the figure. I'm like, oh, that makes a difference. Okay. I'm like, but we're still not there yet. Like, it's something else. Everything up to this point was on my phone. And so I'm like, maybe I need a camera. So I remember I had a camera. I had a Canon Rebel.
Okay.
From like 2000. It was like super old. But I'm like, let's see if that makes a difference. So I got the camera up and running. I took a picture. I'm like, okay, that made a difference. Like, what else does it need? And then I'm like, oh, I think they're doing some sort of like editing, like some sort of like post photography editing. I think, like, I don't know how they're doing it, but I think that's what's going on. And so I started like researching it and find out everyone's using Photoshop. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know anything about Photoshop at all. And I started watching some of the tutorials, and I got discouraged, because it's like they jump into it so fast. It's like, I want to know how to get the picture into Photoshop. Like, how do I import it in?
Right.
Couldn't figure it out. And they just jump right into it, like, oh, layers and masking, and I was just like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one thing that really just got me going was your tutorial on editing, and it was the one with Hulk and the birthday cake.
Oh wow, that's awesome! I'm so glad to hear that was helpful.
That for sure was the one that started it, and because I saw you did everything from start to finish. It's like, okay, here's Photoshop, here's how to import it in, and then I watched the thing like from start to finish. So I think it was like 2 hours long, from 2 or 3 times. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try that on my own. So I got my laptop out, loaded Photoshop, and I'm like, okay, this is how. Okay, I see how he's importing it. Okay, pause, go to my computer. I'm like, okay, I got there. Okay, start it again, and just kind of went back and forth. But that's what really opened my mind to like hiding the wires, making the picture look good at the end. And I felt like at that point, it was like I was the only one holding myself back. Like, I got all the tools I needed to be creative and to make some cool shots. And so that's kind of how it started.
That's so cool. I'm always curious and wondering if those editing live videos have been helpful, but so that's like, that just, to me, that's great to hear that that's actually helpful. So awesome. But that's so like impressive. You seem like one of those guys that like you kind of get an interest in something, and then like you instantly get good at it. Not because you're just naturally, I'm sure you're very naturally talented at things, but also because you're just like, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this, and you did all this research to like figure out each one of these, and you just like, you worked at it, and just like, you're instantly good at it because of that. It's just like, it's just so amazing. I'm so impressed. Yeah. It took me literally years and years to like understand this kind of stuff, and you just like got it. That's so impressive.
Well, it's because, I mean, you gave us all the tools. I mean, it's like you already did all the homework. I just like I don't know how you learned, but you probably did it the hard way, like, finding these people and experimenting and doing all that, where, we can go on your tutorials and watch it. And it's, I mean, you were like one of the first people that really showed how, at least that I found, how to really do it, and really give you crystal clear direction as to, this is from start to finish, this is how you make it happen. And so I just follow your lead, man. I mean, to be honest with you.
Well, that's amazing. I'm just glad that it's helpful. So, thanks for watching them. And Linda throws a perfect word in there: focused. Exactly. You're like super focused.
Yeah,
That's
no.
and so okay, so yeah, right off the bat, your understanding of stuff just like it shows. All of that work you're talking about, it shows right away, and it's not just on one kind of thing. Your page, and so this is just the beginning, but your page is full of so many different. You got like diorama stuff, you got like digital backgrounds, you've got real practical stuff, you've got effects, you've got outdoor stuff, you've got props, and it's just like
Stop.
because you've got so many different
Stop.
what's the word I'm
Stop.
looking for? No, that's not. You're
Stop.
making it worse.
Sorry.
You've got so many different like avenues of different ways to accomplish awesome toy photography, and you're doing all of these different ways. This is so cool. So yeah, tell me a little bit about that, like about your different shooting with dioramas, shooting outdoors, shooting in practical effects and natural lighting, and all of the things.
Yeah, I mean, I get inspired by just a lot of the other great talent that's out there, and if I see something cool, like I want to see if I can do it. And so I think that's what it is. It's like if I don't know how to do something, I really want to learn how to do that. So if I like the lighting, I'm like, oh, I like the way that looks, and I try to put that in a shot, or like sometimes you have something up close that looks cool. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see if I can pull something like that off, or maybe I like the lighting, or I want to get to the point where it's like no matter what I have in my head, I want to be able to pull off. And I think I'm still kind of learning that. So when something catches my eyes, I'm like, okay, what is it that when I look at this picture I like, and try to recognize that and try to try to pull it off. Like I was watching one of 1/6 shooters. It's the one shot that he did where it had like the samurai Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
Great video.
he gave a whole video about how to do that. So on one of my shots, I did Storm Shadow and had like that blue background, or to make it look like it's nighttime. And I just wanted to see if I could get that effect that he was getting. Just see if I could do it.
Oh wow! I totally see it.
Yeah, obviously it's nowhere near what he has going on, but at least I have an understand. Like I just wanted to learn. If I want to create a moonlit scene, could I do it? And how close could I come?
Yeah, well, I mean, you absolutely executed it, because I see the moonlit, and I totally see a little bit of like his kind of style in here, which is I think saying a lot, because I've watched that video and I'm always impressed with everything he does.
Yeah, it's super.
Awesome, and I love the fact that you're always sharing some type of behind the scenes. So with these, tell me about these diorama pieces, these big brick pieces. These are really cool.
Yeah, I think I got those. I want to say on eBay, or I'm pretty sure they're eBay, but relatively inexpensive, and they're modular, so you can kind of just take them apart and stack them different ways. And so, especially with like a lot of these shots are kind of tight. Like you don't need this huge elaborate thing. You can just kind of put the pieces the way you want it and kind of muck around with it. So
cool.
They're small space, so anytime I see something like that on eBay, I try to grab it.
Are they like a from a custom seller that makes them, or is this just like a thing you can get from like a company?
No, I think it's just some dude that makes it. So on eBay, I have a setting, like an alert for like 1/12 scale dioramas. So like every morning, yeah, it just comes and I check it, and that was on there. So I just grabbed it, but they got tons of stuff. Like almost every day, there's something like that on there. So just kind of what kind of shot you're looking for. They have some that are like corner pieces. They have there's a lot of ruins kind of stuff on eBay.
Definitely. Yeah, I love scrolling on either Etsy or eBay on just like 1/12 scale stuff, and it's so inspiring, but at the same time it's like I can't get all of this. I'm not even gonna know what I'm gonna do with it, but there's just so many cool things that you would never think existed, and there's so much of it. It's just like wow, like clothing and setups and props, and yeah, so cool.
It'd be awesome to like, if I had the time, I would probably try to make some dioramas. But I mean, these guys that do it are, I mean, they're amazing at what they do. And I'm not good with paint or anything like that. And I already got so much going on. Like, just focus in on one thing, and just, you know, save up some money. And when I have it, just buy something cool.
You know what? You know what I bet you will happen, just based on what I can already tell. What happens with you is, one of these days you're gonna feel inspired, and you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a try. And you're gonna start making it one diorama, and you're gonna like do all this research, and you're gonna make one that's like really good, and then you're gonna just start making all of these incredible dioramas just like this, like just like,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see that. That's so cool.
Yeah. It'd be cool. Hopefully, it'd be nice if I had the time to do it. You know, one day I was thinking about doing that. It would be like in my head, I think it would kind of work out well. But like, you know, the thing with like dioramas is like a lot of times it's the flooring, like some really good flooring. So you can go to Home Depot and they have like little like tiles, like backsplash, but they're little.
Oh.
You know, like little, not big. And I was gonna put down a piece of plywood and then just grout it over, and you know, that'd be like a really cool kind of floor, something like that.
Cool. Yeah.
So if I do anything, that's probably gonna be next on my list. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love going into Home Depot or Lowe's and just kind of looking at stuff and like, oh, that would be cool for. There's a lot of stuff that you can get some inspiration from just laying around in Home Depot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I brought up this one. Well, first of all, because it's beautiful and lighting is great. And she just looks fantastic. Because Comic Dad over here in the live chat says the Elvira shot is absolutely beautiful, and it really is. What is this car? I'm curious as to what car this is that you used in this shot.
That's a Bratz car. So
okay.
Do you know what Bratz?
Yes, definitely. And I've heard about people using Bratz cars before, so maybe this is the one, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's pretty well made, and it lights up, and the interior is all decked out. It's like for you know, a Bratz vehicle. I got two Bratz cars. That's definitely the better looking one. The other one's like more kind of like plastic and doesn't light up or anything, but that one's pretty legit.
Yeah, and so the headlights light up this much, like.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You put batteries in it, and the tail lights light up too. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and you can either get a Bratz car or you can go get a HasLab $350 car if you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I wonder if that car is gonna make it. I've seen them. This is the most split I've ever seen of the HasLab. Usually it's like awful or like, oh my god, amazing, and this one's a lot of like amazing and like awful all at the same time.
My initial reaction was that I was like, I loved it. I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that looks so awesome. Like the interior looks cool. I like the fire, like the whole thing. I really liked. I saw the price. I was like, man, that's a little high. That's
yeah, I agree. It is. I do think it's awesome too. I mean, I don't have the urge to buy it at all, and not even the slightest. But I do think it's really cool. And then I was a little taken back by, I was like, well, $350. Okay, that's that does seem more than it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, hey, I wonder how close it is to getting backed. I hope it does. I hope it gets backed. I want the success.
I think they're at like 60%. I think I checked today because I'm just curious to see where they're at.
Okay.
And I think it was like, which I don't know. When they unlock some other stuff, maybe it'll go up, but that's still a long way to go, considering it's got like 3 weeks left, something like that.
Yeah, that is a long way to go. Yeah, they'll have to unlock some stuff. And so before I switch shots, Sir Charles over here, hey Charlie, in the live chat says the Elvira shot is one of your best.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And also, speaking of, we were talking about Home Depot. Stubbs was saying that shelf paper works great for diorama paper. Shelf paper,
really?
Stuff I guess you put like on a inside of a cabinet, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right, well, there you go. Always learning something new. Okay, I love this shot. And another example of just how the range and diversity of your shots. Like this is like I love toys and like them interacting with life-size objects, and using Toy Story works perfect for that. So I love this shot.
Yeah, that one it's like that wasn't planned. I was just like, I need to do a picture, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done something with these guys before, and I grabbed them, and I was like, those figures are awesome, just because, like, to your point, you can use household stuff and they come out great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I'm like, I was kind of toying with some ideas, and like that was a really quick shot. It's like it's interesting, like with toy photography, how it kind of comes to be. Like you could plan out like some elaborate thing in your head, and it takes you like hours to set up, and you get done with it, you're like, but then like this one, it took like 2 minutes to set up picture. I'm like this came out super good. So
It did.
You
I love kitchen shots. I love that. And is the lighting in this, is this just natural from like the windows in your kitchen, or did you like add some, like use some of your lume cubes or anything for this?
Yeah, so I had 2 lights going in the back for the rim lighting. It was shot during the day, so I did one at night. I came home from work, I set it up, and like the background, like that's like my living room back there.
Okay.
And it looked a little dark in the back, even with all the lights on and all that. So I'm like, I'm gonna try it in the morning and kind of get some natural light in the house. And then to light up the figures, I had 2 lights in the back, giving it the rim light, and then I had some cards in front of it to bounce the light off to lighten up the front of them.
Amazing. It's amazing. Just like I'm so blown away with it makes me so excited to see your work in like just a year. It's gonna be it's gonna be even more mind-blowing considering you started in March, man. It's just like, yeah, your work is fantastic. Toy Stories dude with the super chat, he sends a question. He says, how do you achieve that amazing soft lighting? I struggle with bright photos, that's why I've stuck with dark. Can you kind of walk us through that process?
Yeah, so usually what I do, so I'll take just 2 backlit lights, so usually just 2 white lights, and then what I do is if I'm inside, usually how I shoot inside. I'll kill all the lights except for the backlights, and then I can see the rim light on the front of that figure, or on the back of the figure. So if the figure isn't completely lit up around the outside, I kind of move the lights around or angle them down or whatever. And then once I get that rim light, then I set up cards. So I just take like poster card and just stick it up in front, see if that lights them up good enough. And if I need a little extra, I'll just kind of take like a lume cube and put it on top and kind of just angle it and kind of just finagle the position of the light on top. And that's really about it. And then I try to get it close, and then the rest is kind of just like editing. But I try not to edit too much, because like I know I'm gonna miss something. You know what I mean? It's like I try to get as close as I can in camera, and then just polish it off, in Photoshop. But I try to do much as possible practically.
Awesome.
And that's really about. I don't like when I first started. I think I was always like putting the light directly. I was like beaming it on the figure. And then, like I said, I used to use like a lot of like paper backgrounds, or I was using like extreme sets, and I kept on getting like that glare like on the back. And so I'm like, this isn't working for me. Like they looked all lit up, but I was getting that weird glare. So that's why I started moving in the back, and then just like bouncing the light off with like some cards in the front. So that's usually how I do most of my.
Awesome. Yeah, that's basically how I'll try to approach stuff too, is light it from the back to get that light that will go around it. And like you can even like that, I even think about that now with my webcam. Like I have this light behind me, because I'm just opposite here. It gets this nice little rim light around, which is, I think, is cool. It helps make things pop a little bit. And I need to get one over here too to do the same thing. But yeah, that soft outside rim light is super great. Which can help to get that that soft, how you said it, Toy Stories, the soft lighting around, yeah. And he's even got the rim light on the grapes. Even the grapes have rim light.
Rim light. Yeah, for sure.
With your same question as Toy Stories just basically said, but with how do you approach like a shot like this with your settings, your camera settings? Like
So I don't know what it's called, but like on my camera, it's like the zebra effect. Do you know what that is?
yes.
I rely on that all the time. So basically, the zebra setting will tell you if something's too hot. So if something's too hot, it makes like a black and white line. So what I'll do is I'll try to get the camera settings like it depends on the shot. So if if I'm doing some sort of action, where stuff's blown up and all that, I'll have to have a fast shutter speed. If not, I'll kick it down and then just look at the f-stop. So on that one, I knew like I wanted the background really blurred, but I didn't want it so much where the whole thing, like only his face would be in focus and the rest would be out. So I think I upped it. I forgot what it's at. It's maybe like at a 6 or maybe I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was a little lower than that, but so yeah, I mean that's kind of how I do it. And then I light it up, and then if it's coming across too hot, I'll kick back the lights a little bit or adjust the shutter speed to kind of bring it down a little bit.
Awesome. And with your ISO, do you kind of like start or leave that at like a nice, like a lower number, or do you just kind of like leave it as is, not really mess with it?
If it's inside, it's usually always at 100.
Okay.
Outside is where it gets a little bit more, like for me, I'm still really trying to figure it outside. Like outside, I love the way the pictures come out when I do it outside, but it's still challenging for me. Like I would take my time on the pictures, and I feel like I'll get it set up the way I want it, and then the sun will shift, and I got to refigure the lighting.
Yeah, I hate that.
We have a big wind problem over here too, so like it'll knock the figures over, or I'll have a reflector and I'll have it like positioned exactly where I want it, and then we'll get a 20-mile-an-hour gust and blow the freaking the reflector in the backyard like a sail, like things like that happen. So it's a challenge for me to do the outside, but I noticed like if I'm outside, I gotta up the ISO to where whatever it is, so it doesn't look like super dark.
Gotcha.
But,
Awesome. Yeah, really, really great explanations. And Steve in the live chat says the same thing. He says, love the explanation, Aaron. I was realizing the other day that we, as human subjects, don't face the sun or light directly. We want it behind us, and that helps us with softer lighting.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to think of it, Steve. That's awesome. And I agree. Really, really great explanation, Aaron. Great for... like super easy to understand.
In my backyard, I have I know the sun sets like at a certain spot in my backyard. So I have this if I want the light in back of me, I got to set it up there, and basically I have like an hour and a half, because just the way our backyard sets up, like the sun will kind of move across that space. So I always feel rushed. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
get everything up and like doing it, and then I'm like, okay, like time's ticking, and I think for that Transformer one, I was like almost there. And then like the light shift, and so I had to move the whole setup over like 2 feet. And
man,
I'm like, I got like 15 minutes, else I'm gonna have to move it again. And I'm like, next thing you know, I'm like right against the house, and I'm like trying to take the picture. It's
yeah, it's definitely a pain. And depending on what time of year it is, like maybe it's more towards like this time of year, that sunlight is so much quicker. Like when you get that spot, it's only there for like, it feels like 10 minutes. But then in the summer, like I feel like you get like a whole hour of that perfect like spot with the lightest. And I don't know, just like I'm still figuring out with the way the sun does stuff and where it goes and what. So yeah, I totally get it. But it to me really seems like you've gotten down the whole that you said you're still figuring out outside. I don't know. It seems like you've gotten it figured out. I mean, this shot's fantastic. The lighting is great. The debris is just like so cool. It feels powerful. And both and this must be a tough angle to get with lighting and to get both figures in focus. So this is a really awesome shot.
I used I remember on that one I used what you said, the focus line.
The focus line. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Focus. So yeah, so I made sure that her head was right over his, so that way they would both be in focus. So yeah, good tip on that, man.
I'm so glad to hear the focus line was helpful. When I was editing that video, we have the same office. She heard the word focus line so many times, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so sick of this focus line crap. And I was like, this is only one part of the video. But I'm glad it's stuck for at least stuck for you, so that's great. Awesome, the focus line. All right, I'm really glad to hear that. But I love the cinder blocks too, with the rocks and the cinder blocks. And is this like a tabletop kind of setup? Like you went outside of the table?
Yeah, so I mean, I stood on the ground, and then I just I got sick of like crouching, and so then we had an extra pallet, and I just put a piece of like cardboard on top of the pallet and raised it up a little bit. And
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes like if you want the camera kind of angled up a little bit, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for me on the ground to do that.
Definitely.
Definitely. I want to get one of those. I don't know what they're called, but I want to get one of those tripods that they're like you can.
They go
like
from
they
above.
hang.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about those, but I've seen them and I'm always very interested. They just look like a lot of work to get set up. I look at them and I'm like, geez, it looks like it's gonna take me like 10 minutes just to put my camera on the tripod, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I've yet to see one in person, but I have to check it out.
Yeah, I'm curious about those as well. And just recently I did a shot, and I put a bandana on the ground and I put my camera right on the ground, which was kind of fun. Like I was like, no tripod for this one. I'm just gonna stick it right on the ground. And it worked, I guess. But yeah, like outside shots, awesome. Inside shots, come on. So this Sam shot was the one I chose for the thumbnails because it's just like so inviting. Like the warmth is just like I just want to be in that shot and feel warm and stuff. But at the same time, it's like is he gonna slice my throat with his lollipop or? So yeah, this is such a great shot. Tell me a little bit about this one.
So my wife, I think I don't know where she was. I think she was in Target or something. Maybe no, I think it was Walmart. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to Walmart." I'm like, "Cool." I go, "If you go to Walmart, I'm like, they have like these little skeletons." I'm like, "Can you get them for me?" So she started looking around the Halloween. Because I think didn't you get them or?
Yeah, I made a video about those little skeleton guys. those are great.
And I'm like, why not? I'm like, you see him, just grab them, you know. And so she sent me a picture. She's like, they didn't have the skeleton. She's like, but I found this house. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm like, and it looked a little bit bigger. Like it looked like a little bit more like 1/12 scale. So she brought it home. I'm like, it's a little small. And so, yeah, she brought it home, and then I just kept on looking at it. I'm like, I think I could do something with that. And so I was looking around the toy room, and I'm like, I found Sam. I'm like, I think he'd be perfect for that thing. So that was it. So then I stuck him in that thing, and then that thing that he's standing on, that's the It diorama from NECA.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, and then on Amazon, I found like these little leaves. Like they're little tiny leaves. Yeah, so just sprinkled those on there, and then I took my iPad and just put that in the back. Because that's really like the house holds a candle.
Oh.
So open, and I took the iPad and stuck it back there with something from the movie.
Okay.
I think it's like in the movie, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what that is behind the window. That's your iPad with the.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's it. And then just put some of the orange lights in there to rim it up. And then I had some cards in front to bounce the light, and then fogged it. And that's it.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works so perfectly. That the house is so good. Like it feels and looks like it's a digital background because it feels so perfect, but it doesn't look like it's a digital background because it looks real, and it is real. So and the lighting on Sam is so good. You got the rim lighting, and even the different features on his face have their own rim lighting, which like makes him pop even more. So this came out really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, he's a cool figure. Like I forgot what it's like the tiny horrors or something. I forgot what they're called, but they have like they're just like terrible articulation on them, but they're like fun little like 4-inch figures. They're pretty cool.
Cool. And this is he's not posable, is he? Is he like a statue kind of?
No, his arms move and his head moves.
Oh, okay.
But I think that's it. I don't think his legs move. Yeah.
Got you. Well, it's perfect. Yeah.
And then he's got a poppable head. You can pull off that head, and he's got like the
other head.
Scarecrow.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, this is a great, really, really great shot. And everyone in the live chat, just want to say you guys have been so awesome and super supportive and just awesomely nice with everything. And also Trippin' with Toys says, what's funny is that Trick or Treat is on my TV right now. So Trippin' with Toys is watching Trick or Treat and checking out this shot. So that's so cool. Which is better?
Yeah.
So what'd you say?
They're getting Sam from both angles.
Yes, double Sammed. But Trippin' with Toys, which is better? This shot is better. Oh yeah. So also, Comic Dad says, can we talk about Jordan dunking on Spidey? Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I got the best. I think all that was on Big Bad Toy Store. So I got the net first, and I was like, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with that. I kind of hung out on it for a while. I had Jordan for some time, but I was like, again, I couldn't find a place for him. And then I found the flooring I had on pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store, and then that came in. And so I was like, okay, we can finally do something here. And that's kind of about it. And then the background I had on a TV screen. So I pulled out, went to Shutterstock, pulled up like a stadium kind of picture. And I was just having a hard time getting the glare off it and just kind of getting in the right angle and all that. So I kept it on there and used it for a light reference, but at the end I transposed the background. I just went in Photoshop and kind of monked with it and kind of got the same. But my original intent was to kind of do it practically, but I couldn't pull it off, and it didn't feel right. So
it definitely feels, the final product definitely feels right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's cool because I've actually been doing a lot. I've been doing a bunch of digital background stuff for some photos, and I've done the same thing where I'll use a TV screen, and then I'm like, I don't really like this so much, and then I end up just putting the image right there in the photo instead. It ends up working out quite well because you've already got the lighting and everything set up for this image, and so it all fits quite nicely already.
Yeah, I probably, if I knew how to do that, probably better. I see some guys that they impose some shots and it looks freaking it looks like straight out of a movie. Yeah. And then I try, it looks like garbage.
No, definitely not. No, this shot is awesome, and so much to the point where Comic Dad was like, "Can we talk about this?" But no,
yeah, that Jordan is awesome. All the I think it's Mayfex.
Right.
Just awesome. I got him and LeBron. They're just really awesome figures.
Awesome. Is this a Mezco Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's the No Way Home Spider-Man.
Gotcha. Awesome. And speaking of that Woody and Buzz shot, those wonderful toys. Hey man, says my favorite shot is the Woody bouncing on the orange with the movie Buzz and the alien. Yeah, we were just talking very in depth about that shot. I love that shot too. So much just good stuff to talk about here. So these guys right here, I have no idea who these guys are. They're Masters of the Universe guys. They look awesome. But this just feels so real. Like the lighting on I don't even know what his name is, the gorilla dude, is so good. It's just, I love the way the light kind of works with his fur stuff. Just looks so good.
So that so I was reading. I have I don't know if I have it. I have all the He-Man comic books, and so a few nights a week I'll read to my kids, and we're kind of chipping away at this 1,000-page book. It's in the vintage He-Man line, in each figure they put a mini comic in there, and so they took all the mini and they all stuck them in one book, and so that's big book. And so we've been kind of chipping away at it, and we got to this story, which is The Stench of Evil. And it's just a story about Moss Man kind of getting into it with Stinkor. And I got done reading it, and I'm like, oh, it would be cool to kind of, like do something like that. And so that's what inspired me to do that shot.
Wow, that's so cool. This is Moss Man?
That's Moss Man and Stinkor, yeah.
Okay, I called him a gorilla guy. Jeez, that's not at all. Totally.
Sure, yeah.
But cool, I love Moss. He sounds like a great character.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is beautiful. And so I know you said Mythic Legions was getting. This is a Mythic Legions figure, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing. So you tell me about this. So these are those diorama pieces you were talking about before, where they kind of piece together. And so you've got a really cool brick wall over here too. That looks fantastic.
Yeah. So I like in this one, I just got him. I'm like, oh, we'll figure some kind of shot out. And so I was kind of like working different angles. I had like more of like a straight on kind of approach, and it didn't feel right. And I don't know, like I had him kind of like, I had the guy like facing the camera, and I didn't like that. I wanted to kind of look a little bit more shifted, like he's kind of looking at something. And so originally I was going to do it in red, and I didn't have anything in the background. It was just the horse, him, and just kind of fogged out. And it looked pretty cool on camera, and then I took it to the computer, and it was like way dark. Like the red was too much, and it's just, I'm like, nah, it's just, like, I felt like it could be done better. Mm-hmm. So I went back, I changed the lighting, and then finally I turned it more into like a purple kind of light, which is the light that's kind of bouncing off him and the horse. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm like, it's like, I need to fill in the gaps a little bit. Like it's just, maybe you can make it a little bit more interesting by adding some stuff in. So then I added in the bottom part, which are those, I don't know what you want to call it, like the mossy covered rocks or whatever.
Right.
And then there's still like that gap in the upper top. And I was like, I'm going to look around and kind of see what I got. So I had this like modular diorama, and I just kind of put it at the right angle and like lifted it up a little bit. And it looked cool. It looked kind of like he's like in a village or something. Yeah. And then put in Photoshop the moon, and tinted it a little bit purple. It was like more of like a white light, which kind of, I just didn't look right. Like you had the purple light coming in, and then you had the white light kind of like on everything else. So I'm like, I wanted to change it so it's just like a hint of purple kind of throughout the whole thing. And then the lights, so I had rim lighting in the back of that whole thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of lit up that window. So it looks like there's actual light behind the window, but it's not. It's like it just hit it at the right angle and lit it up.
Awesome.
So. Yeah.
One thing I was going to ask you about was the moon. I was like, what is that? Did you add that in later on? And the thing I love about it is the moon isn't just there. Like it really looks like all the way the buildings and everything behind him is lit. It looks like it's lit by the moon. It looks like the moon is what's lighting it, and that works really well. So like, I don't know, just the way you added that moon in was perfect. It just fits so well.
So in that shot, I have two rim lights. So I have like one on the left, one on the right, and so right where that moon is, there's a rim light right there. So kind of cast that effect of moonlight anyway.
Awesome.
Like makes sense to just put the moon there. Yeah.
So when you took the shot, were you like, okay, I'm gonna put in a moon in this area in Photoshop? Like, did you have that in mind when you were doing it, or just like you're editing it? I'm gonna put a moon here.
Yeah, I got to the computer and I'm like, it kind of like, why not? I'm gonna like put it in, because a lot of times too, like the cropping, it depends on the cropping too. Like I'll take the picture and then I'll crop it to like 4:5 or 8:10, whatever that is, whatever fits on Instagram. And so once I do that, then I can gauge how much room I have for some other stuff. So I had room for it, popped in the corner, and it kind of worked.
Awesome. That's so cool. Comic Dad saying lighting is gorgeous. And Snap Phase is also saying it's not easy to light black figures. It's true. It's true. The best way to get that a black subject to pop on like a black background is that rim lighting that Aaron is like a pro at, like literally, like Every shot. So, I mean, we could literally go for days on your stuff, seriously. So, you have like quite the impressive setup behind you in this room, and so we kind of got we did a little bit of pre-stuff here, so you could give us a room tour. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so what I have set up on my stream stuff here is totally brand new. So if the sound or anything is not working, everyone watching, please let us know in the live chat. So, okay, so here we go. Please and let us know in the live chat if something is not sounding right or anything.
All right, so I guess we'll just start over here. So you guys can see that, okay?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so this is kind of like my more modern stuff. So we got some Mythic Legions figures up here. Got the Steeds. This is my very small DC collection.
Very small.
Just recently, like DC, yeah. This is kind of like my horror section. Again, pretty small there as well. Got some Ghostbusters back there. Got LeBron. This is my very small Star Wars collection.
Oh,
I have a lot.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jerry.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So this is, I have a lot more vintage Star Wars, but I don't display it. I have it all kind of tucked away. But just recently, I've seen lot of really awesome pictures that you do and other people with some of these Black series. So I'm like, I'll get the ones that I think are pretty cool and try to do something with it.
Awesome. What I was gonna ask is that the Mayfex R2 and 3PO 2-pack?
It is, yeah.
I have those guys. I love them. I have put them through abuse, but I love those figures.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Like anything that Mayfex does, I try to get. They're just so awesome.
I agree.
Then down here, do you know what Boglins are?
Kind of. I definitely know the name and I recognize them, but I don't know much about them.
Yeah, Boglins are pretty weird. They're just like these weird, like rubber puppets, I guess. So yeah, it's something just like from my childhood days. These are the original ones from like 1980, and then they came out with some of the newer ones. But pretty cool. The kids like them. We
awesome.
make them talk to each other. Yeah,
cool.
Good time. And then up here, this is kind of like my Ghostbusters, like going way up in the closet. Got a Thunder Tank, some Ghostbusters stuff. This is like a vintage Proton pack. So back in the day, kids would strap it on their backs to become their Ghostbusters, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
More Ghostbusters stuff. Kind of a mix between vintage and new Super 7 guys.
Cool.
And then more of the vintage stuff. This is Transformers.
Sweet.
Not really into Transformers. But like the older, I have like the OG Optimus Prime and Megatron, and that's about it. Like they're a little finicky, so like especially like the vintage ones, I don't like to transform. But this is probably the extent of where I'm gonna go with Transformers.
That's pretty decent Transformer collection, if you ask me.
Yeah, like, this one's pretty cool. You got the Ecto one, and you got the Back to the Future car that transforms.
Oh, cool! I didn't know they made that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then down here, this is. You probably don't know what Centurions are, do you?
Not really. Nope.
So again, another '80s line, and I was on a Facebook vintage toy auction, and somebody had that guy who's Jake Rockwell, and I'm like, I know I had that guy as a kid, but I can't remember who he was, and started researching it, and it's the Centurion. So I started watching the cartoon, and it's just a really cool line. There's three dudes. They're three good guys. One fights in the land, one fights in the sea, one fights in the air, and they fight this evil cyborg scientist called Doc Terror. That's him, and that's the original figure there. And then he came out this wacky one of him. If you press him, he turns into a flashlight. I don't know why, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with a action figure flashlight. Right?
Sweet. Is he battery powered? You put batteries in there?
Yeah, I put battery in them.
Nice.
Yep. And then this guy, kind of same thing, but he's binoculars. No idea why.
Cool.
Super. Yeah. And then this is Mask. This is like the toy line that I didn't have as a kid, but once I saw it, I was like, they're pretty cool. They're like a kind of like a hybrid between Transformers and GI Joe. Like all the cars kind of transform and they become weapons. And,
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I love the hot rod one. That one's really cool.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the childhood ring that I was talking about. So these are all my childhood wrestlers and the ring. So the LGN wrestlers.
Nice. So that's the one you had as a kid.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool to be able to have like some of your old collection in with your new collection.
Yeah, for sure.
So many people in the live chat are saying that it's hitting them right in the childhood and stuff. That's so cool.
And then so this is kind of like my classified section. So I end up I want to keep all the classified sealed. And then I have I always buy double, so I have the ones that I take pictures of in a box, and I just kind of use those ones. But eventually all these are going to go in storage, because down here I'm kind of just building up. So as the figure collection grows, I'll just kind of pull those down. So these are kind of like my movie kind of figures.
Gotcha.
Famous people's that kind of thing. That's that.
Pac-Man.
And then down here, these are more like the cartoons and video game stuff and all that. And we got some Fortnite figures.
Awesome. A lot of Fortnite stuff. I love the Fortnite character skin designs. I think they're really cool. There's a lot of cool designs.
Originally my kids, my kids, like I said, Caleb especially, he's really into Fortnite, and I think they're really cool. I need to do more photos of them, but some really wicked head designs. This guy's pretty badass.
Yeah, they just have really cool designs for the skins or whatever they're called.
And then down here, these are more of the high-end ones, like the Mafex and Mezco figures.
Gotcha.
I tried to keep more of the pricier ones on the bottom in case we get an earthquake or.
That's really smart.
I want to crack. Yeah. And then up here, these are the Rambo figures. So back in the day, they came out with, this is the first figure that they came out with based on an R-rated movie. And so there was kind of when these figures came out, people getting a little heated over it and a lot of controversy. But again, figures I had as a kid.
That's really interesting. Cool.
Yeah. And then these are some, if you're familiar with those guys.
Nope, but
really cool. Really cool. Mondo ended up doing a remake of them. So these are the three Mondo ones that they did.
Cool. Those are mad balls. They're just balls that look like cool faces. Well, actually, more like terrifying faces. But those are awesome. Yeah.
And then over here is these are all my sealed He-Man. Well, I guess over here it's a very small horror section. Got some helmets.
Cool.
G.I. Joe Former, and then these are all the sealed He-Man figures.
Nice. Cases and everything.
Yeah. And these things are when I buy a figure for my kids, it's within, if I say, hey, take good care of this, it's destroyed in 2 seconds. The box is ripped open, and these things are 40 years old, and someone had these for that amount of time just in perfect condition. And a lot of times the bubbles are they get yellow, so if you leave it in the sun or there's some I'm not exactly sure what makes the bubbles yellow, but a lot of them are like that. So to get them clear is it's hard to find at some point.
I'm sure. Yeah, well, they all look great, and everything's so nicely lit too, so which just makes the collection just look that much better.
And then on the door, these are just some reaction figures. So I'm not a huge fan of these, but I really like I like the artwork on them. I think just so they came out their own line, the work, and just some of the artwork on here, like that dude. My kids always come in, they look at these things, they're like, what is going on? This stuff is so freaky, and it is, but it's awesome,
Yeah. Yeah, the artwork is so cool. The cards, it makes you want to keep them in the package.
Yeah, exactly. And then over here, this is the GI Joe section. So I have most of the major vehicles from 82 to 87. Those are the years that at least I played with them. And then this is the complete figure line. So it kind of starts off with 1982, and then it kind of ramps its way up to 1987. But it's interesting when you look at like the line. So this is how it started. Like, see all the Joes like in their camo, and
Yep.
and then by the time you get to 1987, you're dealing with ninjas. You got the Croc Master. Like, you could tell like they're really stretching to like get ideas. You know what I mean? But that's every complete figure from 82 to 87.
That's so cool, and I love how you have them organized as such.
And then a couple sealed Joes that I got, and some more vehicles.
Awesome.
That's that. Up on top, some more Joes.
Heck
And
yeah.
then I got this guy. This is the Tweeter head Skeletor bust that I got.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot the first time I seen this. I want to say like maybe it was at PowerCon last year, but they had it on display, and I was like, as soon as this thing comes out, like I got to get it. It's so awesome, and centerpiece of the room for sure.
Oh my gosh, totally. And I feel like do you ever walk in the room and see it like in a corner of your eye, and it feels like somebody's there, like I feel
all
like
the time. All the time, yeah.
so cool.
Like I sit here at night, I'm like, is this thing like alive? Like, it totally freaks me out.
Yeah.
That's the original Cell from the cartoon.
Oh, cool. And it's signed. Is that the signature down there?
No, it's markings from the Cell. So for like production. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah, I was gonna have Alan Oppenheimer, the guy who voices Skeletor, to sign it, but I went to a conference and he wanted like $100 to sign it. I was like, no, I think I'm all right. And then so then this is getting into He-Man. So this is the classics line.
awesome.
And I think, as a He-Man fan, I mean, these things are just, it's kind of what we've always wanted. It's, really, detailed sculpts, decent articulation. It could be, they're big figures, they're 7-inch, and I would say like the Mythic Legions are a little bit easier to kind of to move around, but for that big of a figure, it's still not bad.
Awesome.
That's
yeah.
all those guys. And then down here, these are some just some customs and some more rare 5.5-inch figures I got.
Awesome.
Yeah. So like that's Critters custom. That's a My Pet Monster. Got a couple of GI Joe customs. Got Freddy Krueger back there.
Yep.
And then got some just random He-Man stuff. And then this is every He-Man 5.5-inch vintage figure. This whole wall over here.
Wow. Such a great, so much completion too, which must be awesome to say. This is the entire blank. And there it is.
This is it. Yeah.
Very
Up on
nice.
top for the 1/6 scale. Figures up there. And then this is the Mythic Legions. So, I mean, Mythic Legions, I think right now are probably definitely one of my favorites.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's all Mythic Legions. And then this is the Marvel stuff.
Nice.
Still all Marvel. And then some more over here. And then this is just some more He-Man stuff. So Snake Mountain, got the Fright Zone. Got one of the giants. There's one more giant that I need. So it's him, and then there's Titus.
Okay.
And he's the only one that the one more Titus I need to really complete the entire Masters of the Universe vintage.
Are those sealed boxes?
No, they're open. I just like the boxes. Like there's a fright zone in there, but it's open, and then this is just the box.
Gotcha.
And then he's open. And then got some more cells.
Cool.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Got a little My Pet Monster.
Awesome.
That's the collection, yeah.
So do you? I mean, the collection is incredible, and everyone in the chat has been saying it is, and compliments on how clean it is, which it is very, very much. Let me go back over to, but yeah, seriously, and it's that was a complete joy going through all that. So in this room. Is like, does it have any other purposes besides being the display room? Like I see you got a TV in there, and they have the chair. Like, do you do any like editing or anything in there?
No, I kind of do the editing wherever. Sometimes I'm on the computer for like a couple hours, so I'll try to hang out with the fam and we'll watch TV, and I'll just do the editing here. If I have like work calls, like I'm here, so it's like, it's funny. So right this way, the one part of the room that I didn't show you is it's 2 French doors that open up to the outside. So that's the only part of the room where there's no toys, because I can't put any toys because it's door. So when I do conference calls, I'm like always in the same, like I gotta like angle it. So like my customers, I'm talking to them, if like the camera's angled a little bit, like customer one time is like, is that a toy? Like what is that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. But it turned out because he was really into it. He's like, well, let me see it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, you might think I'm a little weird because he's like, no, it's okay. And like I showed it to him, and he dug it. So you never know. It might lead to a conversation. So
yeah,
but yeah, usually very small areas where I do all my work stuff.
Cool, that's interesting. Well, all of my work meetings and calls are in this exact same angle and everything.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Awesome. That was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah, man.
And Snap is saying the organization here is amazing. It is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
So I've got some questions from Instagram. So are you ready to answer some good stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. I'm just gonna get started. So first question's from.
Wait, can I ask my first?
Oh wait, first question is from Harleen. This is the Harleen question segment.
If you had to choose only one Sailor Scout to be on your team to fight in battle, who would you choose?
One Sailor Scout?
Yeah. From
What's a Sailor
Moon.
Scout?
From Sailor Moon.
What is that? What's Sailor Moon?
He doesn't know. Sailor Moon is a anime. I'm sure you would.
Just say Sailor Mars. She's the only choice. She's the
That
only
one.
option. She will defend you with fire.
He says that one.
Or just say Harley Quinn.
We do both.
He says both.
Yes, no.
That was a very tame question.
I thought it out real hard.
Yeah, usually she'll come in with some out of left field, like, why are we talking about this? So great. That was a great question, babe. Good job. And great answer too. All right, so first question from Instagram, from Artistic Toaster. Thanks, Artistic Toaster. Says, what's your favorite thing about toy photography, and what makes you pick up the camera?
So yeah, so the favorite thing about toy photography is like, I feel like every picture you take is a different problem you got to figure out. Like they all have their challenges, whether it be lighting or the angle or the elements outside or just getting a figure to pose the way you want or hold a weapon or an accessory. Like they all kind of have their own challenges. So it's awesome. Like when you start something and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, and I don't know if it's gonna work out or not. To the finished product, when you look back, you're like, this is really awesome. Like, it went from nothing to something super awesome, and that's just the whole process. I just really enjoy.
Cool.
And yeah, to pick up the camera, like I said, like I just kind of look around the room, and like if there's a figure I haven't shot, I'm like, what can I do with this figure? Or I get a lot of inspiration off other people's pictures. Seeing what
Definitely.
What they do with it or how the lighting looks. There's never a lack of inspiration. I know that one of the most recent figures I got was the Marvel Legends Speedball, and I knew nothing about Speedball at all. So I'm like, I'm gonna research it and
Cool.
find some, old comic book, clippings of him, of like all these weird bubbles around him and all that. I'm like, so the first thing I thought in my head was like, gotta do a shot with bokeh, like,
Yeah.
it's gonna look awesome. So I was up until 2 a.m, like working on that last night, and so yeah, you never know. It just kind of comes sometimes.
Did you post that? You haven't posted that one yet, have you?
No, it's it was like one of those things where I wasn't completely happy with it. It's got some work to do, so a lot of times when I try not to let the toy photography cut in with the family. So a lot of times it's like they go to bed, and then I go set up. So it was getting kind of late last night, and I'm like, I started getting tired, but I had everything set up. Like I was doing it in my kitchen, and I'm like, man, do I really want to set this whole thing up again tomorrow if it doesn't come out right? So I was hoping that it did, and I loaded on the computer. I'm like, it could be better. So might have to set it up again. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure the opportunity will arise, and
yeah,
I kind of love when that happens, where you're kind of forced to go out and do it again, because that's when the huge like learning happens, because like, okay, last time this didn't work, so this time I'm gonna try this, and then you learn so much from that. Cool, awesome, really great answers. So, next shot is from Dr. Awesome. Dr. Awesome, always been super supportive, says, would you want to do this as a job, or would you prefer to do it as a hobby without the stress of a job?
I mean, that's a good question. They always say, like, do what you love, and it just comes naturally. I think the job that I have now it definitely feels like work. It's an awesome job. So my day job is I sell a drug for cancer. So it's really awesome to go out there and know that you're saving people's lives, and especially when you talk to the patient, they're like, your drug saved my life. So it's really awesome to be able to hear that.
Wow, cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So and toy photography I think would be awesome too. It's definitely different. But right now it's a really cool hobby. Get a lot of satisfaction out of it. It's challenging, still learning a lot, and I don't really go past that. It's just it's good times right now, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome, and that's all it ever will need to be.
Yeah,
that's so great. Awesome. And so actually, Tripping with Toys throws in a pretty cool question. It says in the live chat, he says, did you order the Mythic Legion's Headless Horseman?
I did. Oh yeah.
Ah, cool. Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool figure.
Well, 1/6 Shooter did an amazing job on those pictures. I mean, those are like looks so. So yeah, I got that, and really, I guess some people are already getting them.
Yeah, I heard that it's there was no pre-order. It's just like it's up for order. You can go and buy it.
Yeah,
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Did it sell out and like really quick and like lose stock, or I didn't really follow it too much?
No, well, I think they had 2 different ordering windows. So they had one in the morning and one at night. I think the morning one sold out, and then the later one I think was open for quite a while. I think they're sold out now, but it was open for quite a while.
That's really cool.
I just anything Mythic Legions, like I just get, like, as soon as they come out, like I'm all in. I just get them, because if you ever want it later down the road and you go on eBay or wherever, you're gonna pay triple the price for it. And really, as far as I'm like, you can't go.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's I'm very new with Mythic Legions, but that Headless Horseman was something I was like, wow, that would actually be something really cool to have, for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of Headless Horseman-y Halloween Halloween-ish figures, so the Figure Freak says, do you have any tips for Halloween photos? And I think he asked this one because I used your Sam photo for the the face of this stream. So
so we're my horror section is very small, and in fact today I went out because we're doing some different collaborations between the other groups. Got a really awesome picture coming out, I think tomorrow. That just like it's one of my favorite pictures that I've done. Came out really, really cool. And shout out to Toyimmersion for putting together like a group collab. But I jumped on that one, so I'll be posting that one tomorrow.
Awesome.
And so I had to go out and doing a couple others like that. And so I had to go out and I got like a Michael Myers one. I got a Crooked Man one. Just kind of doing different stuff. So I don't know. Like I'm definitely not that much experience on horror, but I know on that Sam one I did, like kind of putting that orange light on there, definitely makes a difference. But
Right.
and the one that I'm posting tomorrow, I used white and red light, so it's kind of like a combination. So I think like between that white and red together, kind of creates like this kind of like boiler room kind of effect kind of thing.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what kind of works for me.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great answer. If you're ever trying to get a certain type of feeling in a photo, yeah, the whatever color and light really can help with that tone of stuff. So, yeah, that's really great. So you actually kind of just answered this next question, similar to the last one. If you have any Halloween shots planned. I mean, I guess you got some coming soon, but any other planned ones that you haven't shot yet?
Yeah, the one I'm gonna do. So I'm posting one tomorrow, and another one I'm gonna do is gonna be what's the movie? I'm blanking on the name of the movie. What's the name of the movie where so in the there's like a movie poster for The Hangover where they're in the airport and you got all four of them and they're kind of like walking down to like the terminal or the airplane or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I know. I definitely know that poster, but I don't.
So I was looking at that. I want to do that with the horror. So I'm gonna have like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and they're gonna be just kind of walking all together and kind of just like and chill. And
oh, that sounds great. That sounds.
That's
really
why I kind of had it set up, but then I was like, I need one more guy. So I had to go hunt down a Michael Myers one, which I never buy figures in the wild anymore because it's too much of a pain. So I'm like, but I want to do it right away. And I'm like, by the time I like order it, it might not be here for a while. So I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be on hunt all day looking for this figure. But luckily, I went to the first Best Buy today and found it right away. So
nice. Best Buy.
Figures. Yeah.
Go Best Buy. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like because I know there's a Halloween movie last year. There's one this year. So I guess I would expect there to be some available figures. So good. I'm glad you're able to find it.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome, cool. That sounds good. And thank you, Johnny, for that question. Okay, so next one's from Comic Dad. Comic Dad, right, who's right here in the live chat all the entire time, basically. So it says, if you could only shoot one figure, what would it be and why? Tough question.
If I could shoot one figure, I mean, I would say just probably something with that guy right there. Just goes back to my childhood. I was always just fascinated with Skeletor at a very early age, and yeah, if I had to do one, I think it would definitely be him.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, Skeletor it is.
Can't go wrong with a skull and a hoodie. So
yes, awesome. Actually, Toy Culprits in the live chat says, what is Aaron's current area he's focusing on improving around toy photography?
Toy Culprits. That's my boy Colin. What's up, man?
Hey, man.
Yeah. I want to get better at, like I said, outside and just getting a little bit more, proficient at that. Maybe being a little bit quicker, and so I don't have to deal with the movements in the sun. And if I could find out a way to like secure my reflector so that thing doesn't pop in the air and blow all around, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Other than that, I think like when you're taking shots and you have to do multiple subjects and you want everything in focus, that's a little bit of a challenge. Like I tried focus stacking and that didn't really come out right for me. So even like if you have like a high f-stop, still like if you have subject in the background, it's still going to come out slightly blurred.
That is tough.
So, one thing I did with that, and I don't know, maybe you have an answer for it. So I tried like like I'll have like the figures in the front focus, and then I'll switch the autofocus so like now the back's in focus. But what it does is when you do that, it kind of crops it.
Yeah.
So that when you layer, it messes it all up. So I didn't know it was like focus stack. It seems like it doesn't adjust to it. It's still kind of, makes it a little bit messy, and so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, in my experience with trying to do focus stacking, it's definitely tough because when if you go to focus on the second thing that's further back or something, it'll also adjust the focus all around that too, which will be totally different than the first one where that was focused, and so it's definitely tough. So yeah, sometimes I'll do that, and I won't do it too much. Like I'll only try to do things that are a little bit far apart. If I try to do something way up close here, way back here, it just, the further away they are from each other, the harder it's going to be for them to mix when you do the focus stacking. Yeah, I guess sometimes I'll do it where I will, I'll take one picture of this one completely by itself, and I won't even have this one here, and then I'll do the focus stack with this one in afterwards, because it's easier to mix it if the out of focus thing isn't there at all to begin with. But yeah, it's hard. That's one of the things I'm always trying to get better at too, is dealing with shots with multiple subjects. That's definitely tough.
So when you do the stacking, do you like? I read one thing where you're like, okay, you start in the front, and then you just kind of click the focus like very slowly, and then so that you're building like 30 shots from front to back, and that way when you put it in the computer, the AI will recognize a little bit better. I've never done that. I've always just been like, okay, I got 5 people or 5 figures, and then the shot, I'm gonna like take 5 pictures of each one. But they're saying to like take multiple,
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, my kid, real quick.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I heard a little knock, but yeah, I've never done it. Like usually, I just kind of like cut it out and, hey, how's it going, man?
It's good.
Thanks for.
Where's Sean at? Okay.
So your dad was. Sorry.
My older one.
Your dad was
You wanna
telling
say
me
hi to
that your little brother is really into toy photography, but not you so much.
No,
Not so
What
much.
are you into?
I like video games.
Nice. What's some of your favorite games? Fortnite.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you think about your dad's Fortnite figures though? Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so then this is the other one. This is Sean.
Hey Sean, how's it going, man?
Good.
So
Tell us something about your toy
yes.
photography.
Oh, so yeah, I heard that you're into what your dad's into, toy photography and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, right?
Well, he's always got a lot to say, except for like now you put him on the spot.
could have just seen him minutes ago.
What's your favorite figure to take pictures of?
I'll probably say my He-Man toys.
Good
Nice.
choice.
Just like the old man.
Yeah.
You're making your dad very proud. And Caleb is too. You guys both are. You guys both
I think Sean's like celebrity struck right now, because usually when you do like the toy photographer, reaction videos,
Oh, really?
we put it on TV, and like he'll sit there and watch it, and so I think like a little.
That's so cool.
He's a
Cool.
little-
Thanks for watching, Sean. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your toy photos.
Yeah, good talk.
How many toys do you have?
I might not even have as many as your dad does. He might have more than I do. I don't know. I would say I have around the same as your dad does, but or maybe less. I don't know.
Oh.
Say bye.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, guys. It's great to meet you.
Yeah.
That was great. That was so great.
Yeah, got the whole fam.
The whole fam was here. That's so cool. Yeah, that was so awesome. I'm glad we got to talk to them. See,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut like at the door, and I was like,
not at all. Not at all. That was awesome. That was really glad. I'm really glad that we were able
little
to
fake like.
Yes, that was great. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought them in. That was really good. They seem like such great kids.
Yeah, they are. They're awesome.
Cool. All right. So I got a couple other questions here. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. So this is from Clone War 501. Says, What was your favorite Sirdork challenge? Thanks, Clone War 501st, for throwing this one in there.
I think so far it would probably be the floating one. Like that Superman shot I did was really fun.
Yeah, that was
But
awesome.
I think I joined it a little later, but you did a hand one, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That one sounds awesome. Like I wish I would have been on that, but I missed it. Like that just sounds like such a unique kind of thing to do. So I'm really bummed I missed that one. But to date it was probably that floating one.
You can still do it. You can still
That's
do
true.
it.
Yeah, it's true.
It is quite fun to be able to add your own hand in there. Awesome. Cool. All right. Awesome answer.
It's so awesome. Like just seeing, like I love the streams and just seeing what people come up with. Like there's just every time I watch it, I come out inspired, and there's just so many talented artists out there that just come up with like the most beautiful, interesting pictures. So hats off to you guys who do the pictures. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that's so great. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, that's exactly what I hope for, and I always do too. I always come out feeling super inspired. It's so cool to see everybody come together. I have a new idea that I'm not sure if I'll try it for this next stream for this month, but usually we'll do like top 100. But I think I might like come up with 10 categories. So there'll be 10 for best action, 10 for cutest, 10 for most whatever. So like the top 100 is kind of split up into 10 categories. Like, so it's to keep things interesting. So I might try that. I kind of had that idea after the last stream. So we'll see if that works. Okay, because that it might not. It might make things more complicated. I don't know, but
Yeah. And then it's probably really grown for you, right? I mean, when you first started this, like where was it then, and where is it now? I mean, you just might be like maxed out on the number of submissions, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So the first one we did, I just did Sirdork. I think it just did there was no theme. It was just like whoever wants to be on the stream, boom, got it. And we did everybody's. And the next one I had a theme, and I was able to put in every single person on the stream, which was so cool. And then it's come to the point where if I try to do every single person, I'm literally doing a stream for like 5 hours, and that's just as much as I would love to, I just can't. So yeah, it's crazy how much it's grown to the point where we can only do the top 100, and it sucks because I want to have everybody on there, but it's grown quite a bit, which is so cool. Thank you for everybody who joins. So crazy.
Yeah, good stuff.
Cool. All right, this is a great question. This is from Ripik Tan. Thanks, man, for sending in the question. It says, a shot or two you've done that were game changers for you in your learning process. Why and how?
Let me think. Trying to think of the shots I've done. I think the one I did for you, I think it was like the Candyland one. It was the rainbow one.
Right.
Yeah, kind of going back to like multiple subjects. Like that one was tough for me because I wanted like action in the scene.
Yeah.
There's I think like 5 different figures in there.
Yeah, this one was mind blowing.
Yeah, it's like I said, I really like rim lighting on my shots, and I felt like that wouldn't have worked on that picture just because I got figures in front of the house, I got figures on top, they're on the side, and I couldn't, like, he's almost inside of the house, so to get like lighting like the way I wanted it across the whole scene, it didn't come across as well as I wanted it to. So I ended up I lit everything from up on top, which kind of makes it like that really kind of just like really well lit picture. Mm-hmm. But I definitely like a little bit more moodiness to it, and a little bit more shadows. And that picture doesn't have any shadows in it. It's just just boom. But that's like one thing I wish I would have like figured out a little bit more. It's just how to get a little bit more feel into the stuff without that lit up.
I got you. I see exactly what you mean, but I remember being so impressed with this shot, and I still am. It's crazy that like at first I thought like, okay, he took all these pictures separately, put them on. No, this is everything was there. That's just like Super impressive. Yeah, this must have been so tough. Yeah, I remember being blown away by this one. Awesome. Yeah.
It's funny. The house is made out of cardboard, and
Right.
the boys were like, "When can we eat the house?" I'm like, "It's cardboard. You can't eat the house." And they weren't understanding. Like, there's candy on it though. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you can eat the candy, but you can't eat the house because the house is cardboard. And but the boys helped me make it, and it was a good time. So I think you definitely gave us something to do on a Friday night. So
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
You totally could have been like, yeah, sure, you can take a bite out of it right now, and then just like let them learn that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Snap Phase, dude, in the live chat, has been a member for 4 months. He says, "Thank you, Sirdork, for expanding our toy photography." No, thank you, Snap, dude. You are awesome, and I'm glad that whatever I'm putting out can help you guys. That's so cool. Yeah, it's so awesome. So yeah, that was a really great Ripik, great question on that, and yeah, that shot is definitely a game changer for sure. So this shot is from Devious Leo, which thanks Devious Leo for sending the question. He says, how do you erase stands and stuff from your photos?
So when I first started, like I said, I watched your video on editing, and I was doing clone snapping for a long time, which I still do. But then I learned about content aware fill and started doing that. And I think for there, it's kind of hit or miss. Like I think when you do content aware fill, if you're using kind of like the sticks, like to balance a figure, like the skewer sticks that you kind of use sometimes, I think the AI kind of picks up on that. But a lot of times I don't do that. A lot of times I use wires.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's like a bend to it, and sometimes it's just hard getting the content aware to kind of recognize that a little bit. So I usually start with that first, and then if it doesn't turn out right, then I'll just go back to clone stamp. But
Awesome.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's same with me. I'll start with content aware fill. I'll use that, and then I'll go in and use some clone tool. And then sometimes if there's really small things I'm trying to get rid of, the patch band-aid tool is really great. But that was
Really?
yeah, it's really great for small, really small things. You just basically just paint over it and it goes away. But it only goes so far. It's basically like painting content aware. It's
Okay.
It's basically what it is. I think.
There's like it's like the wire or something like isn't just like a plain background. I'll match the paintbrush to that color and then just paint over it.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I think like if paintbrush tool, like if you put the paintbrush tool over like a color, like in the picture, and you push Option, click,
Yeah.
it matches the color, and then you just paint over it.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. It's like the eyedropper. The eyedropper like it matches it. So that's really cool. That's a great idea. That could probably work a lot when you're trying to draw things in. But there's too much stuff with the clone tool, and yeah. Okay, that's really great. Cool.
Yep.
I hope that answers your question, Devious Leo, for sure. Steve, have a good night, man. Thanks for being here, dude. All right, so this is from Simple. Oh, actually, this is the secondary question. This is his first one. So from Simple Toy Photography says, what camera do you prefer, and when did you start toy photography?
So I've only had two cameras. I had Canon Rebel, which is what's old. At this point, it's like 20 years old. And then I upgraded to a Sony A3, Sony Alpha 3.
Oh, sweet. That's the same camera I have.
Yeah, it's an awesome camera. I mean, it really is. I have no complaints about that camera whatsoever. And then I have a 90 milliliter macro lens, and then a 50 milliliter lens. Usually I try to shoot with the macro, but sometimes if it's like a wide shot, or if I'm too far back, need to get in, I'll switch it over to the 50 milliliter or 50 millimeter.
Awesome, cool.
And toy photography since like March. So around March time is when I decided, I'm committed to it, and invested in the camera, and just said, I'm going to commit to doing 2 pictures a week and just learning as much as I can along the way. And sometimes I do more than that, but I try to at least commit to locking in two a week. So that's my goal.
Crazy. That's like 6 months. Yeah, you've only been doing it for 6 months, man. That's crazy. I can't wait to see in like a couple of years where you're at. Seriously excited. And so Simple Toy Photography has a follow-up and says, also, what's your favorite toy line to shoot?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Mythic Legions for me is probably one of my number ones right now. Just really, I love the sculpt on them. I really like that whole barbarian kind of like, it reminds me of like kind of like Masters of the Universe, but just a little bit more grungier, which I think is really cool. Marvel Legends, I think, is really cool from like an articulation standpoint. A lot of different poses you can put on those guys. And then lately, just I've been getting into a lot of DC figures. Haven't done too much with them from a toy photography standpoint, but building it up and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
But, those are probably
Awesome. You're diversifying everything with approaching to photos and subjects and intellectual properties. Just like you're getting at everything. So cool. I love that.
trying. Yeah. I mean, there's so much to learn. I mean, to make like a picture look cool. A lot of people think it's just that you take a picture of a toy, like, but there's like so much you got to know. You got to know your camera. You got to know your laptop. You got to know. You almost got to think of the editing ahead of time. You got to know the lighting. You got to know how to, what it look like through the camera. There's like a lot you got to do. So it takes a while.
Definitely, yeah. Awesome, cool. Mythic Legions, it is for number one.
That's it
for now, but still branching out.
Yeah.
This is a good question from Willet Jacob 01. It says, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
It's got to be Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. You've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, I've never seen. There's a lot of like really iconic classic horror things I've never seen. When I was a kid, I was way too scared to watch anything that had the word scary. I just wouldn't even nope, won't do it. And so now I think horror movies are cool and I enjoy them, but I just have so much to catch up on. So much.
Yeah. I've been I kind of made a comeback with horror films. So Sean, my little one, like he loves like creepy, he loves like the horror stuff. We don't let him really watch a whole lot, but like he sees like the Freddy figures and Jason. He's always just fascinated with it. So they had Monster Palooza not too long ago, which is this huge like horror convention. And I'm like, I'm gonna take him with me, and he was just like amazed. Like they had all the makeup artists there and like all like
cool,
the whole nine like horror. And, so we've been trying to like hunt down like some of the horror movies that he can watch. You know what I mean? Right. So a lot of times like on like TNT, it's like the edited version of like the horror movie, cuts out all like the nudity and the bad words and all that.
Right.
So we kind of slowly kind of introducing him to stuff that he'll be able to handle. But yeah, so it's we make kind of horror family events here at the Anderson house.
Awesome. That's so cool. I'm thinking about Trick or Treat with Sam, and I'm like that movie is like, I feel like it's got such a fun type of feel to it, but at the same time it's so adult oriented at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like it'd be perfect for a young kid or something to see, but at the same time it's so the opposite.
Yeah. When I was a kid, like we always watched horror movies, and for me it was the opposite. Like I always felt real comforted being with my family, and I felt safe, and it was like this weird thing where I'm like, all right, I'm watching something that's terrifying me, but at the same time I feel safe and not scared, Cool. So I think that's what we do with the boys. It's like, we know like it's movie magic, it's not real, like you're safe, nothing, not a guy with a hockey mask ain't gonna come in and it's all good.
That's great.
So yeah,
that's really great. Yeah, I was way too freaking scared. Anything that was, if someone said this is a scary movie, I'd be like,
no way.
Nope, I'm way too scared. Thanks Willet Jacob for that one. And so this is from the Don Rooster. Says, what's your favorite go-to fig? So favorite toy to take pictures of.
Oh man, that would be a tough one. Again, I'm gonna have to default to like any Mythic Legions. I don't really have one specifically, but like the detail on them and just the way they photograph is
Definitely, yeah. They have a great feel to them. Just like holding them, they just like feel good. I don't know if it's because they're got a little weight to them or what, but they feel good. Awesome. Thanks,
Yeah.
Don. Great question. Okay, so Lord Red says, I see he uses all different characters. Any favorite characters? I think we know the answer to that one.
Yeah. Probably the Mythic Legions or anything He-Man are probably my favorites. But I really dig I'm really expanding like my neckline and just trying to get more of the recognizable characters, and it's just always fun to put something in there that people recognize, and so I've been kind of up that route.
Cool. Yeah, I have found myself doing the same kind of thing. Like I really enjoy shooting. Like if I have an idea for a photo I want to do, I'm like, okay, I want to put somebody in that people will be able to connect with. So then the photo has that much more of an effect. So yeah, same here. I'm having that same kind of thing. Miguel Angel Rojas in the live chat says, I know you already have questions, Sirdork, but if he can answer, hearing you're talking about what you have to know for toy photography, you have a background in photography? So do you have any background in photography before this?
No, not really. I mean, I always like when I went on vacation, like I said, I had that Canon Rebel, and I would just take it around and like do some shots that I think were cool. And I remember one time I was in Ireland, and I had the camera, and like there was like this really like kind of like it's just like a tree, and it was all wrapped in like vines and like really cool greenery and all that. And somehow I took the camera and it blurred out the background, so I must have had like a low f-stop. But I had no idea how I did it. I'm like, I got the picture at home, and I'm like, this looks really cool, but I have no idea how I did it. And I really didn't until I started watching your tutorials, and I started learning about shutter speed and f-stop and ISO. But I came from zero background as far as photography. On the editing side, I went to school right after college for a little bit for music production. So learned how to like use some of the software-based programs like Cubase and Pro Tools and stuff like that. So going on to Photoshop, I had somewhat of an idea like how it's going to work on a Mac, but that was new to me too. But some of the like the hotkeys were somewhat similar and that kind of thing. But just kind of trial by error. You just go in and get your feet wet and figure it out.
Yeah, that's so impressive. So before you started this, no experience in any of it, and you've just gathered and taught yourself all since then. That's so awesome. Very impressive.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't even. It's like when you really love it, it's you just like I want to do it. It's like I really just enjoy doing it, and you learn as you go, and you get better the more you do it. So
awesome. Yeah, that's true. The more you do it, the more you do it. And Miguel also in the live chat says you got great illumination skills. Thanks, man. That's a great compliment right there. That's a great.
Yeah,
compliment.
Appreciate that.
And Skydro, sorry, what'd you say?
It's again, it's like a lot of it is the lighting, and if you can make the lighting work and a lot of these, really just changes the whole dynamic of it.
Definitely. And also Skydro Walker in the live chat says, "Let's go, Aaron." So, let's go. Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, Skydro. All right. So, oops. Hang on. Let me get rid of this. So Side Fig Gig 2 says, been meaning to watch one of these, but I'm UK based and it's 2 a.m. Have a good one. Well, Side Fig Gig, thanks a lot. Even if you're not
for hanging in there.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks, dude. And also, before I get further into any more questions, I just want to make sure everybody knows that Aaron's right here on Instagram. Make sure you're following him. When we started the stream, he was at 542. And now, hopefully he's at much higher. He's at 554. All right, you went up 12 since the beginning of the stream. That's awesome. All right, cool. Let's get him up more.
Thanks, guys.
He's putting out this incredible work, and he's under 1,000. Come on. That's awesome. And he's doing collabs with Toy Pit community. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get him. Let's get him up there. Let's get him up there. And then also, after you go and follow him first, then you can come back to the video and also like the video too. That'd be great. That'd be really great. Anyway, where am I here? Anyway, so next question is from. Crap, where was I? Next question is. Oh, that's it. That's all the questions. All right, well, that's all the questions from Instagram. But I do have 2 final questions that I want to ask.
Yeah.
First one being, what character or what property do you love, but we don't have any good figures of yet, that we need figures of? So who, if you could pick anybody, we don't have a figure right now, who would you want to figure out?
Oh man, I would say if they could do like a whole Looney Tunes line, I think that would be awesome. I know there's kind of like random figures, but if they did like, I think it was like Palisades. I think they did like the Muppets line. If they did something like that, or like Super 7 came out with like whole Looney Tunes, like with all the weapons, and I think that would be awesome. There's so much.
I agree.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I would be into that. I feel like that's something maybe like Diamond Select. I could see Diamond Select doing that. Maybe. I don't know.
That's Muppets, yeah.
That'd be really cool. I like that idea. I recently had I was really in need of I wanted Martian Manhunter. I was like, not Martian Manhunter. I had Martian Manhunter, and I was like, okay, I want to do something with Marvin the Martian. I was like, I need both of these Martians in it. And so the Marvin the Martian that I found ended up being like a bendable, like one of those bendy figures, and actually ended up working quite perfect for what I needed it. So, but yeah, I would like that as well. That's an awesome answer.
I picture like taking Roadrunner outside and doing, air blasting debris and spinning around, and yeah, that'd be.
I love that answer. Yeah, that would be really cool. I would definitely at least want to get Bugs and Daffy and. Yeah, man, I feel like that would be a hit. I feel like that would be a hit.
Yep.
Somebody's got to do that.
For some reason, I picked Super 7 doing it for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That's a cool answer. I like that answer. All right, and so the next question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years as a toy photographer?
Yeah, just having fun with it and just learning. I can honestly say that every single picture that I take, I learn something from, and just learning from everybody and watching your tutorials, and whether you're beginning or you're advanced, I think you can always just pick up something. So, I just want to keep it going and have fun, and then that's it. Whatever happens beyond that happens.
Awesome, cool. And so where do you want to see your collection in 5 years?
Oh man, I don't even know. I would say like right now when I look at the collection, it's half vintage and half like toys that are photographable.
Right.
But then I would like to, just get more stuff that I can do more awesome pictures with and more art with. Hopefully, we'll see where it goes. I think, my wife might beg to differ on that. She might be like, well, maybe you're good for.
Doesn't work like that.
There's always stuff coming.
Awesome, yeah. And in 5 years, so you're gonna have to figure out a new place to put some stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah. For
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on and talking and giving such great insight and positivity and inspiration. Really. Oh, we're getting a bot in the live chat. Perfect timing. Come on. All right, there we go. Taken care of. But no, really, Aaron. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Is there anything else you wanna mention or plug or anything before we call it?
No, I mean, just like when I opened up, I thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
The tutorials you have are huge. Definitely keeps me motivated, keeps me learning, and the Discord server as well for hooking that up. Those guys on there are awesome, and so just bounce ideas off each other. So it's just, thank you for everything you do, and please keep it going.
Thank you. I'm glad that it's helpful. Like when you were telling me that one editing video was helpful, that was just like huge, just like awesome. That makes me super happy. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone who watched and stuck around in live chat, thank you so much for sticking around. Everyone who came in for a second and left, thanks. And if you're watching this not live, also super huge thanks. That's amazing. So I suppose I'll see everybody on the next stream. I'm not sure if I'll do any other normal streams this week. Just so much crap happening. So yeah, again, Aaron, thank you so much. And so yeah, talk to you guys later on. Thanks so much, you guys.
Take care.